Hey, and just like that, we are back. How's it going? It's been a while. As always, Nate Mumford, Director of Sales Engineering here, and time for another RCS Live. As you know, every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we break down an RCS product, talk about some features, and of course, I'm available to answer any questions you may have. Yes, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter Live as well. So if you have any questions, any chats, I am definitely here. And yes, thank you very much. We have a little thing. Welcome back, Nate. I appreciate it. And so, yeah, as always, don't forget some little housekeeping to get out of the way. We got some really unique opportunities in careers here at RCS. There's an entire page over at rcsworks.com. And then the career, I think it's companies, then careers at RCS. If you're curious about working for us and a great team with amazing coworkers, we are hiring some unique positions right now as well. Let's see here. We've been back on the road. Yeah. This whole thing is about recapping NAB. Was such a great time. I know that we're just wrapping up radio days right now. I think we're heading somewhere else over in Europe as we speak. So the conferences are back up and running. We'll be at Momentum at the end of the month. Of course, you have Texas broadcasters. That's at least here in the States. I'll be at those and a couple more as well. Let's see here. Backups, data exchanges. Don't forget to take your backups. Make sure you check the backup paths as well. And beta users, always looking for beta users. Zetta 5.21.2 should be, I think it's next week. GSelector 5.0, that's going to be officially released, I think, at the end of the month. And then, of course, we have Aquira 3.21.2. That's being released as well with that Aquira Cloud, which we'll talk about in just a second. So, as I said, any questions for me, let me know. But let's go ahead and talk about NAB 2022. Phenomenal time. We kind of joked and said it was very much like shaking off the rust, right? That was the idea. And so what we did is we kind of wanted to recap you, if you couldn't be there, what a lot of the users were asking about in regards to the latest and greatest RCS features and all that good stuff. So I have a list here. We're going to break down some RCS Cloud disaster recovery, GSelector S3, that's scheduled subscription service. Talking about storing forward content, streaming with Revma, also the Aquira Cloud, and some other unique Zetta New Features as well. Don't forget, we do have our archive, all the past videos. That's over here at rcsworks.com/rcs-live. So check out some of the old videos. We have that up and running for you. It's a great resource for you. And we have a lot of unique videos coming down the pipeline, too. I wanted to kind of mix things up and talk about some things we haven't reviewed yet so far in RCS Live. So the topic you want covered, let us know. Otherwise, let's dive into some good stuff here with the RCS Cloud Disaster Recovery, which, by the way, won Best Disaster Recovery Solution of NAB 2022. Have some great videos in the archive about RCS Cloud. You can check those out for an extensive list of great features, things you can do in here. Again, you can control the on-air. There's a playlist, library. You can add audio. You can even go and voice track in RCS Cloud. Treat this as its own environment, right? It's an environment in addition to that, to your existing market. We back up all of your assets. That is metadata, audio, schedules, SQL backups. They're being saved to a cloud. Remember, RCS Cloud is not a virtual machine. It is a piece of software written on an Amazon Web Services S3 container. So we follow best practices and securities and all of that good stuff. A lot of really, really cool behind-the-scenes things go in to the RCS Cloud. I've seen some great videos in the past just showing you again about the config and stations here. And again, we had a lot of users come up asking all about this, what they can do with it. Some really great things you can do with RCS Cloud. But I kind of want to talk about for a second here, these station devices. So one of the things that we have here, we are talking about is some unique ways of delivering content for both disaster recovery purposes and also primary playout. And one of the things that RCS Cloud does have is the concept of devices. So you can take essentially a schedule, load it up to a physical device, put that device at a transmitter site, and we can play out that log in its entirety, either with or without internet at some point in time. And you can kind of see there's, depending on what you're trying to get content-wise on this device, there's some unique things you can do. And then, of course, again, once that device is all hooked up, it's a matter of where you're going to put it. That's going to be on you. So we have, partnering with Barracks, Raspberry Pis, some audio science things here too. There's a lot of functionality here, depending on how you want to design this. If you're curious about this, let us know. We can dive deeper into this, talking about what you can do with these devices. But again, that's kind of the big thing we're surrounding NAB. A lot of disaster recovery, talking about the cloud with RCS Cloud, also talking about storage devices, putting that content in different sources. Want to mention too, there's a lot of questions about AI, artificial intelligence. Very much a loaded statement because obviously there's different types of AI. There's kind of what we dub the workflow AI that we want to automatically trigger some type of workflow. And then there's the vocal one, like we want to have some voices on the air based on a script of a UI. And there's a lot of that in the background as well. Again, if you're curious about that, we're here to help out. That's kind of what we were doing at NAB. So reach out to your local RCS contact, be it sales or support, whoever it is. We can dive deeper into that. But just know these are some of the things that came up during NAB 2022. Very briefly here, just kind of giving you highlights of a bunch of stuff. Want to talk about the subscription manager here. That's in S3 world. Again, the idea here is that we define a publisher or a format center, and we can then define a profile of a station, right? The idea that we have multiple markets. Why are we sending individual music logs across the board, right? We're going to play the same Katy Perry, Lady Gaga into each other with Taylor Swift. Why are we going and having, let's say, have 6 people do a very similar music log? So the idea with S3 is that we have one music log with your format captain, your music log champion, whoever that may be. And then we take that one music log and send it as a publisher to a unlimited number of subscribers, right? And that subscriber can go, you can see here, there's a full log load. If I double click on this profile here, you'll see there's full, there's custom, there's music only. That's the traditional one. And the beauty of this is that we can have essentially local clock structure with a master music log with its own imaging, its own spot blocks, commercial logs, but we're also kind of making your life a lot easier. There's a lot of great features here. So just briefly want to show you what I'm talking about. Jumping to my GSelector here, I have tomorrow's log. Notice, by the way, I kind of had a couple different profiles here. During the overnights, everything is completely locked. That's the idea here. Let me just jump here in the midnight. There we go. Everything is completely locked. This is essentially the publisher is saying that you get exactly what I tell you to. You're not going to deviate. You can't override. You're going to get exactly what I tell you to get. And that's why everything here is in the locked position. Yes, these are colors here you can adjust and customize yourself. If I jump to, let's say, something like 9 a.m. or something, you'll see in this example, I went position by position to allow the user to say, okay, these positions are locked. You can't touch these. But the other positions are open. And this is all based on a trust level. If I have enough trust, I'm allowed to edit that position. If I don't, I don't. You can have multiple trusts. So essentially in here, these A's are essentially this position here has a trust level of 5. In this profile, I have a trust level of 5. I can edit this position, hit K, and I can edit this position. Whereas this one right here has a trust level of 9. I cannot, I'm hitting K, you can't really see over here, but I cannot edit this position because it is locked, right? Because this is a trust level 9 on a profile that has a trust level of 5. So you can really design this and customize this if you want. And of course, let's just say you have some kind of specialty feature. There's a really cool element here called local blocks inside of GSelector. Treat this like a spot block with interstitials. This is going to be essentially a way to bypass the S3, put in what you need to have, and then return back to the S3 music log. So in this example here, I have a 12 o'clock hour, and it's a 90s at noon. So I essentially have 3 songs of the 90s outside that of the S3. I put a local block in here, and you can see there's my 390 songs. Then I return back to this position 10, again, locked for trust level 9 versus trust level 5. And then, of course, I want to mix it up. If I go to, let's say, the after hours, I can then say, hey, this is free range. I'm going to give you kind of the music log, and then you do whatever you want to do with that S3 music log, right? That kind of thing. So really exciting stuff. We have a lot of users that are looking to connect to multiple sites, sharing audio via Zcasting, sharing schedules with GSelector's S3. Some cool stuff there as well. We are going to do a extensive RCS live on S3. There's one right now in the archive early on, but we're going to do another extensive one to show you all the customizable features here. But again, we want to cater the S3 to what you want to do based on your workflow. A lot of our users will interpret this slightly different based on what they need, but it's kind of the overall concept of connecting multiple sites with audio and schedules. So if you're curious, once again, reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you out there. Talk about GSelector S3. We talked about the storing forward content, streaming with Revma. That's in there as well. Some really cool things you can do on the Revma side. Quick little screenshot here. I want to show you the Aquira Cloud, and Dawn and the Aquira team were there at NAB as well, showing this really cool feature coming down the pipeline. And that's going to be this RCS Aquira Cloud. So right now we're going to start with Triton. That's the very first integration piece. We're going to keep going down the line after Triton, but right now Triton is released, if I'm not mistaken, in the latest beta, which you, of course, could become a beta user of Aquira 3.21.2. So you can just see here, I want to show you some screenshots. Aquira Cloud, there's Triton over here. When you go to your actual, Aquira to go, you'll see in that top right here, see this? That's going to be essentially your Aquira Cloud, that integration piece across the board. From there, we now have this brand new Aquira Cloud where you can see some start and end dates, the integration with Triton that's there. And again, you can set some basic metadata here as well. But that's going to be extensive. Just as you've heard me say with RCS Cloud, we start with essentially, Triton, and we're going to expand on there. We had a lot of users talking about Aquira Cloud and integration with Triton. As you can see, that's a big one there too. And also, of course, we talked the AI and Zetta New Features. We do have Zetta 5.21.2 is coming out. Some really exciting stuff there as well. So if you're curious about any of this stuff, of course, we are here to help you, right? The idea that, hey, show me more about, Revma. What can I do with in-store radio with Revma? We can do that, right? It's a content delivery network, right? Right, Aaron? And we can do, RCS Cloud content storage with putting it somewhere in a transmitter site with no internet. Yeah, we can do that too. Or just, I want to connect multiple sites with GSelector S3. There's so many things you can do with similar products moving down in 2022 and 2023 that we can't wait to show you as well. So as I said, we have some great RCS lives coming up. We're going to expand on the S3. We're going to talk about some Aquira Cloud. We're going to talk about other things as well in regards to just, big picture things. We'll have some updates for you, some schedules for you down the line as well. But I will see you. Check last call for chat questions here. I think we're all good there. But if you have any questions, of course, we're here to help. And we're here every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time for an RCS Live. I am Nate. I'll catch you next Thursday. Have a great one. Bye-bye.